Welcome, folks, to Crypto News Global. I'm your host, Nick Toka. On today's show, is Bitcoin slowness a feature or a bug? Also, Japan's open house to accept DOGE, Solana, and XRP for real estate amid friendlier regulatory climate. They also have previously announced that they will accept Bitcoin and Ethereum. All this and so much more on today's show. Well, folks, it is March 23rd, 2025, and I have some interesting news. I'm your host, Nick Toka, on Crypto News Global. Japan's open house is ready to accept DOGE, Solana, and XRP for their real estate. So you can basically buy a house in Japan with crypto now. They previously had announced that you could buy with Bitcoin and Ethereum, but now they're adding DOGE, Solana, and XRP. Super interesting. Let's get into our Market Watch and Bitcoin technical analysis for the day. We currently have the BITI up about 1% to 86,000. Solana up 2.5%, 134 bucks. XRP up 1%. $2.43. Doge up 1% at 17 cents. Let's zoom into our crypto bubbles, and about 60 some odd percent in the green for today, including some big winners. Forum up 8.5%, Trump up 6%, Bonk up 6%. Doge and Solana up 2% and 3% respectively. Let's zoom out to the weekly. Some big gainers. Bonk 23%, Cake 32%, Hype 19%. And let's check out our monthly. We have a few more coins in the green for the month now than we did. It seems to be more and more every day now. Back on the uptrend. We've got Pi up 26%. For the month, but we do know that Pi is way down for the month. Kava up 25% for the month, and PancakeSwap definitely up for the month, as we see it almost every day. It's up 9.5% for the month. Total crypto market cap exactly 1.7 trillion for Bitcoin, 239 billion Ethereum, XRP 140 billion, Solana 68 billion, Doge 25 billion, Cardano 25 billion, Tron 21 billion to wrap up the top 10. The current total market cap is 2.75 for all cryptos combined, with Bitcoin holding 61.8% of that, Ethereum 8.7%, XRP 5.12%. We are currently at a 45 in neutral in our crypto fear and greed index, with yesterday being a 30 in fear and last week a 32 in fear. There are approximately 1,116 days left until the next Bitcoin halving in 2028, with 160,844 blocks left to mine. Top assets by market cap, we've got gold, as usual, way up there, 20 trillion, 3. Apple, 3.2 trillion. Microsoft, 2.9 trillion. NVIDIA, 2.871 trillion. Amazon, 2 trillion. Google, 2 trillion. Silver, 1.892 trillion. Bitcoin, number 8, 1.697 trillion. Saudi Aramco, 1.6 trillion. And Facebook, 1.5 trillion. You can currently get 1,166 Satoshis for $1 US. The U.S. debt clock keeps ticking. Currently, the U.S. national debt at 36,634 billion, which equals to 107,145 per U.S. citizen, or 323,048 per U.S. taxpayer. So definitely some interesting news. And one thing that's often discussed with Bitcoin is that it's slow, and this is why all these Bitcoin is a layer 1 blockchain, and they basically every 10 minutes a new block gets created. So if you have a transaction, you buy a pack of gum, it would actually take 10 minutes for this transaction to complete. So it doesn't make it feasible. So there are layer 2 and layer 3 coins that take advantage of the blockchain. So effectively, these layer 2, layer 3, you make a transaction with these, and they then actually make the transaction. So let's call my microphone the blockchain, when really all it is a ledger, folks. It's just an accounting ledger, the blockchain, right? It's just numbers that are being held. So let's call my microphone the blockchain. So that's the main blockchain. If you're going to use Bitcoin directly, it's going to take 10 minutes to actually complete a transaction. So instead, what happens is the layer 2, layer 3, they make a side chain, right? So XRP and Lightning and many other small coins, they're all layer 2, layer 3. So there's a side chain. You go with your XRP, you create a transaction, and it's immediate. So it creates the transaction and completes the transaction on the side chain. Then it posts this after 9 minutes or whatever time it is to the full blockchain. So your transaction's already completed over here. And then when the main blockchain, updates every 10 minutes, then it passes the full information to the real blockchain. So that's kind of how it works. So the question here is Bitcoin's slowness a feature and not a bug? The deliberate pace of Bitcoin transactions ensures security and decentralization, fostering trust among users and preventing undue influence from centralized entities. Satoshi didn't invent Bitcoin to be a generalist network, a jack of all trades, master of none. Bitcoin deliberately trades speed and scalability for decentralization and security. But contrary to popular myth, this isn't an obstacle to building new Bitcoin-based applications. Slowness is Bitcoin's strength, not its weakness, and the building on Bitcoin movement will succeed only if devs embrace inherent Bitcoin slow architecture while strategically working around the edges. Don't try to change Bitcoin. Bitcoin's slowness is crucial to its security model and transaction confirmation mechanism. Instead of relying on centralized intermediaries, Bitcoin achieves trustless transactions finality through proof of work consensus, prioritizing security over speed. The resource-intensive and time-consuming proof of work provides a computational guarantee to prevent malicious actors from altering Bitcoin's transaction history. The 10-minute block confirmation time is thus one of Bitcoin's core security features, albeit among the most fundamental ones. A shorter block time would increase the chances of orphaned blocks and forks, whereas a slower blocks ensure transactions that are propagated across miners to confirm and agree on the longest chain. This negates the chances of validating wrong transactions and hard forks. Yet Bitcoin's scalability has always been a point of contention. So devs have tried improving Bitcoin's throughput and making it cheaper during the high network congestion. One such proposal was increasing the block size to reduce transaction fees while allowing for more data storage within a block. The community fought back with good reason, and it led to the so-called block size war. While larger Bitcoin blocks could have processed more transactions per second, making the chain faster and more scalable, it severely affects decentralization and network security. Larger blocks require more compute, so it's more expensive to run full nodes. This, in turn, means fewer miners securing the network, increasing centralization and consolidation risks in the hands of the wealthy elite. That's precisely what Bitcoin was built to solve. The lesson: you don't change Bitcoin, Bitcoin changes you. So interesting, and exactly what we were talking about. So yeah, we don't want to change Bitcoin. Allow the security to be the primary feature is definitely the way they want to keep it, and hopefully this is the way it will stay forever. Now, speaking of the biddy, the Bitcoin was designated to be allowed by Japan's open house real estate company to buy real estate in Japan recently. And now they've opened it up even further, and Japan's open house to accept Doge, Solana, and XRP additionally, including Bitcoin and Ethereum for real estate amid friendlier regulatory climate. Amid Japan's evolving regulatory landscape, Open House is integrating Doge and Solana as payment options to attract a broader demographic in its real estate offerings. The Open House Group, a prominent Tokyo Stock Exchange listed real estate firm, has expanded its crypto payment options to include XRP and Solana and Doge. This addition brings the total number of acceptable digital currencies on the company's platform to 5, complementing the previously supported Bitcoin and Ethereum. As Japan's 5th largest real estate company by revenue, Open House's decision marks an upward trend in crypto payment and adoption with the country's property sector. Emi Yoshikawa, a former Ripple executive, shared the news on X, highlighting the importance of this development. According to a translated press release, Open House Group aims to facilitate international property purchases in Japan through its Open House Global portal, now offering crypto payment information and multilingual support to cater to global clientele. This move by Open House could set a precedent for mainstream crypto transactions in high-value purchases, potentially encouraging other businesses in Japan and globally to follow suit. It further legitimizes cryptocurrencies as a viable payment option for significant transactions. Japan is evolving to accommodate crypto. Japan's regulatory environment has been evolving to accommodate crypto adoption. The country has implemented clear guidelines for crypto businesses, and Japan's Financial Services Agency recently proposed significant updates to the Payment Services Act, introducing new regulation for stablecoins and cryptocurrencies. The aim is to diversify stablecoin reserves, allowing trust companies to hold up to 50% of reserves in terms of deposits and government bonds while maintaining a one-to-one backing. This would enhance investors' protection by enabling regulators to mandate offshore custody of spot digital assets and stablecoin by exchanges, addressing concerns raised by past exchange collapses. The bill also introduces a new category of intermediaries that can act as brokers between clients and crypto exchanges without registering as exchanges themselves, streamlining the process while maintaining regulatory oversight on asset and risk disclosures. At the same time, a proposal is being discussed by Japan's ruling Liberal Democratic Party that would introduce a 20% tax rate for crypto investments, aligning them with stocks and other financial products. As more established companies like Open House embrace cryptocurrencies and government policies continue to pursue a more crypto-friendly stance, it could pave the way for wider adoption and use cases in Japan's property market and beyond. So very cool. You can now buy a house with Doge. Crazy. So let's hope those Doge and XRP prices pump to $100, and I'm sure a lot of people will be buying houses in Japan, as well as we all know that Ferrari started accepting Bitcoin about 6 months ago. It might have even been longer than maybe 1 year now. Not that, if your Bitcoin went to $1 million, you'd buy a Ferrari, but it was a nice, highly visible company saying, yes, we're embracing Bitcoin. Yes, you can buy a Ferrari with Bitcoin. So pretty cool on all fronts here. I like what Japan's doing, and yes, they are the first, but I don't see them being the last. We've already talked about crypto loans, or sorry, Bitcoin loans, where some banks will accept your Bitcoin on a loan. They'll give you, you give them your Bitcoin. They'll give you, we'll say right now, 85K, and you owe it back in, 5 years, or, you create a 25-year mortgage. Now, the smart part, and I'm sure people who have a fair amount of Bitcoin are taking advantage of this. What they'll do is they'll loan the bank their Bitcoin. They'll get the 100 grand. They'll buy a house or buy whatever for the 100 grand. Then they'll wait 4 or 5 years for the Bitcoin price to go up to, let's say, $1 million, perhaps the next halving cycle. They will then subsequently get their Bitcoin back, pay off the loan of 100,000, and then pay off the rest of the house. Instead of having this, by then, if their Bitcoin's worth $1 million and the house they bought was worth, 300, well, they can now afford to actually buy the full house instead of having a mortgage at all. So interesting times, and I feel like things every day, there's new stories that come up with big companies and banks and you name it that are embracing the biddy. So let's hope that that keeps continuing, because we all know that there are trillions, 900 trillion approximately assets in the world. So it'd be nice if we could take advantage of some of these and buy them up with our Bitcoin, because money is abundant, folks. We know that money is everywhere. It's time that's scarce. So use your time wisely. Spend less time messing around and more time learning, more time with family. Spend less money than what you earn. If you start making more money, all of a sudden start saving more money. Don't start spending more money, and start saving when you're young. Start investing when you're young, in your teens, in your 20s, and ideally you can retire when you're 40 or 45. If you have a great idea, jump on it right away. Start right away, even if you're not ready, and things will slowly come together for you. Remember, folks, here at Crypto News Global, you're not only watching or listening to Crypto News Global around the world, you are Crypto News Global. I would love, if you found this stream enjoyable, to please subscribe on my path to have more than 500 to 1,000 subscribers by the end of this year. Please join me on this path, and we will see you on the next stream, folks. Thanks so much for joining.